Gerardo Murillo, a famous painter known as Dr. ATL, sometimes strolled through the grounds of the old convent seeking inspiration for his next paintings. One afternoon, while he rested, he saw a colonel and his assistant arrive hurriedly, arguing as they made their way toward the courtyard. The assistant stopped dead, staring fixedly at one of the arches. The colonel then focused there as well. Suddenly he began firing his weapon. The sound was deafening. The power of the shots and the echo of the place drew Murillo's attention. From where he stood he could not see whom the shots were aimed at, so he threw himself to the ground. The colonel only stopped when the cartridges were spent. He took a moment to reload. Some of the bullets were dropping from his hand and he hurried to pick them up, nervous, never taking his eyes off that spot, watching with something like fear, as if someone approached. His eyes bulged the moment something floated in the air, as if a very strong man had lifted him from the floor by the throat. Through the incredulous gaze of his own assistant and of the painter watching from a distance, one could see the colonel suspended in midair, more than half a meter above the ground, kicking and struggling to free himself from a force that gripped him like pincers, stealing his breath little by little until he was suffocated. The struggle was brief and the officer could not free himself. His weapon fell to the ground, followed by his limp, fading body. Murillo ran to help, but when he reached the colonel, the man exhaled his last breath and died with a look of terror frozen on his face. Soon after, the police commissioner arrived, having heard the gunshots in the distance. The painter was with the caretaker and the caretaker's wife, telling them what he had seen. He immediately shared the story with the representative of the law, and because the tale seemed hardly believable, they were all accused of murder. The caretaker was questioned and related the colonel's idea for ending the ghost. The disheveled painter also received little approval for his statements and became the prime suspect. Only the doctor on duty seemed to give some credence to the accounts and had the idea of comparing the marks left on the colonel's neck with the painter's hands. They immediately noticed they did not match. The marks far exceeded the size of the suspect's hands, almost double. They still awaited the colonel's assistant, who had been hospitalized from the shock. The next day, restored to his senses, the assistant went with the commissioner to reconstruct the events that had occurred in the convent. Fear was visible in the man's eyes. He then told the following: "The colonel and I were returning from our duties. As we crossed the courtyard, we saw, rising from the ground in one of the arches, a shadow darker than a moonless night. Fear froze me, but the colonel decided to fire at it. When his bullets ran out, the phantom vanished from the arch and appeared again in front of the colonel, strangling him with its large hands. After that, my fear was such that I fainted. It seemed like the ghost of a friar, but dreadful, with a face and hands." He faltered in his words, unable to describe clearly what he had seen, and lost consciousness again. The doctor helped him regain his senses, and after several attempts to describe the phantom, he would faint once more. The commissioner withdrew the charges, though not satisfied, for he could not condemn a ghost for murder. Legend says all this happened in the former convent of La Merced in Guanajuato. The ghost is still seen in its corridors, for the colonel's attempts to destroy it served no purpose.